Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
getting live.
Got it. This meeting is being live streamed. It's not quite exactly there yet. I take off my
I guess
squiffy
now,
glasses.
now we are.
Yes. Now we are live. Yes.
Hello. Hello. And
Hello.
hello, Syl. Hello, everyone. Hopefully,
Hello,
Norma will be
God.
there before us, as usual. And hello, Norma. Hope you are doing well.
Hmm.
It's really a pleasure to have you there. Today is live. I just asked before the live, are we going to do the live today? And so says like, duh. And I was just thinking that how time and how our things and behaviors and thinking pattern change according to our situations. What was or could be a big thing, big need and preparation and everything might be like, okay, yes, we are going to do live. What about? And what we are going to say, how we will start, and how to do the setup and everything. The newness of things, of any situation, can be overwhelming for anyone. And mostly we give up on the newness by the overwhelm of newness.
Yes.
I learned to transform or shift or change the overwhelm into excitement. I learned this.
Say that again, please. Repeat that. That's a very potent point.
I learned to transform or change or shift the overwhelm into excitement.
Wow.
And now it is in any situation, things can be completely new, situations can be completely new experience with new people. Like every day we are practicing, and Syl is providing this opportunity for me to at least that to learn to not get overwhelmed by newness, not get scared by the unknown, not get pressurized or stressed by the moments. This is what I'm practicing. Yes, on surface, it is just for start talking and sharing things, but it's a deep transformative practice and exercise for me. Because my mind, my subconscious is getting this signal, this message again and again. If I can do it here, I can do it anywhere. If I can do it in this situation, I can do it in any situation.
Yes.
If I can handle this curveball, I can handle any curveball in my life.
And you can. You have. You've demonstrated this.
This confidence, this trust, this capital T trust. I like to use the word trust instead of confidence now. I don't know why. Because confidence has con in it that, okay, you just con yourself. Even if it is not real, you just say, okay, yes, it's a confidence. I can con people, I can con myself. This is something. So I prefer and I choose to use more trust in these things.
Yeah, and capital T trust is based on impeccability, so it makes a difference.
Exactly. At least from my side, trying to be impeccable. I'm in the process. I try to do that in any situation. I just ask myself, okay, Syl gave a very, very simple but most profound statement for that. To ask yourself or ask a question, what I'm doing here.
What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah. This question is like when we ask ourselves, we cannot lie to ourselves. Yeah. Even if we try, we cannot, because our conscience is aware that my intent is not clear.
Yeah.
When we ask, we have to prepare for the response. And that is where we get clarity of intent, which is the basic of Way-of-Impeccability. It's a mechanism not only to get alert, but also to be very clear with your intent.
And what you're doing.
What am I doing here? It means are in the situation. Okay, what I'm doing. I will first say my first response for me, it is, okay, this I'm reading. For what? And what actually I'm reading? And these questions just give me more and more and more and more clarity, precise clarity of my actions, my behaviors, my gestures, my thoughts, my intent. This is so profound. And this is what is happening. When you don't know that, okay, what question will come to you? You don't know how these things and where this discussion, this conversation will go. And you still put yourself out there. I cannot be here if I don't have the open mindset, a mindset of a student. Otherwise, I would never be prepared. I can never, ever be prepared. And I'm coming here to learn, to practice, to exercise, to apply my understanding, my practices or my experiences, what I have so far I have earned and learned from this. I'm just getting this opportunity to implement all those things. Now the unknown is a word or obsolete word of moreness. At least it is getting more and more in my life. Still, I do have some sort of reluctance and fear in other aspects of my life when it's unknown. Because you cannot be blind, you cannot be foolish to trust everything. But having this thought, what about if it is not unknown, it is just moreness, more than what I can understand, more than what I can see, more than what is obvious. And it gives me profound trust in myself, in the universe, in the situation, and in other people. Again, I'm sharing just to get more value out of it. Thank you so much for just listening, Syl. Okay, now we can continue.
It's a pleasure to listen, Beena. It's a very, very powerful point that you're making. To understand this in ourselves, to know what we are doing, not just in the moment, in the exact thing, but in our lives, in the overall great big context. Yeah, this is very important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very important. It is, that simple act of figuring out what it is that we're doing with our lives, why we are doing what we're doing, what we're about. We're not just surviving. And this is a great shift, and it adds so much to our lives. It adds an incredible muchness to our lives. And when you know what you're doing,
yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was it just came to me that, okay, when you were saying, I was super uncomfortable with numbers because of some, of course, incident or whatever happened. I was uncomfortable with details. I was avoiding that because I was trying to avoid something. I was trying to forget something, some phase of my life. So whenever it comes to numbers, I'm like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. But somehow universe just put me in a situation where I feel very excited, but the numbers becoming fun for me. And I'm paying attention to details. And they are getting like, okay, yes, it's fun. It's fun. And then I realized that because I also read somewhere, it's not my own thing, but I just read just this one line, that obstacle is a path.
Yes, correct. Obstacle
and that was like, wow. Yeah. Why it could be and how it could be. And when Syl, you were saying that, I realized that was the obstacle for me to deal with numbers. But universe just change it and make it fun for me. And I am actually dealing with numbers. That was the obstacle.
Right. Now let's go back to clarity of intent and why it makes such a big difference. Yeah. Yes. There's a practical, physical reason for it. And let's connect this to the new nobility, since we're doing a go over of the book and the story, right? And the moreness and the exquisiteness, and that's just our purpose here, right? Exquisiteness is part of the Moreness project, right? The book is part of a bigger thing, which is the Moreness project, right? And in the Moreness project, we are focusing on exquisiteness of being, right? And in this exquisite understanding of psychology, why does clarity of intent make a difference? It makes a difference because if you know what you're doing and what you focused on, and you're clear about it, not just your uh, goal or objective, but your intent, which is a different thing. We can have goals, but we don't necessarily intend them. Yeah. So to intend something is an extra step because that's an investment of energy. But yeah, why is it important? Because when we have clarity, the brain now knows what's important to you, and it notices that which is relevant and pertinent to what is important to you. It makes connections for you, right? Because it knows what you want to do. It's clear. And so, okay, this is all right. There. Oh, how about this? Will this be helpful? Oh, how about this? Oh, here's something that's helpful. And you start to notice and observe and connect to that which is pertinent and relevant to your intent because it's clear.
Yes.
See? Your brain knows what you want and it can provide it to you, not just your brain, but the universe. Now you might say, well, it's one and the same thing. Doesn't matter, right? It's irrelevant how it happens. The fact is it happens. But there's very literally in the brain because of emphasis. Yes. Emphasis enlarge the nodes of what is the thing that you're emphasizing. And when those nodes enlarge, it also enlarges the connections and it connects to other nodes and they start expanding and it goes from there. Right. And this is how the brain works. So when we understand this clarity of intent, oh, you enlarge the node or you're emphasizing it because it's clear. And then the stuff can start connecting and start working. Working with our brain is absolutely critical, not against it. So clarity of intent utilizes the natural automatic moreness of your brain to bring you more of what you focused on. But why clarity of intent, not just intent is important, but clarity of intent. Because you can intend stuff, but you can intend other stuff and they conflict and contradict, and then your brain is like, wow, and it's all a mess in the middle, right? Clarity of intent. Clarity of intent. Yeah. And also, you might think you want something, but clarity means you've thought it through to the end. Multiple perspectives shifted on it, right? You know that this is what you really, really, really want, right? You're a spice girl on this. Yeah.
Yes.
You know exactly what you want and why you want it. You know that it's important, it's necessary, you desire it. It's in your physicality that you have a desire for it, right? And it's not a desire that's one that you can't justify. No, it's a fully justified desire. Yes, and a want, which means it's important to you, it's necessary, it's sensible, there's sobriety in it, everything is right about it. Everything's in alignment, bingo, it all starts to happen, right? Very, very critical and important. A lot of people intend things that they can't justify. Of course, you have a conflict, not going to happen. No clarity. Yeah. My point I want to make is that when we have clarity of intent, we leverage the brain mechanism. Yes, it's part of the emphasis. Clarity of intent is a particular emphasized emphasis. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. See, working with the brain. Understand your brain makes all the difference in the world. How cool is that? Yes.
Yes.
How cool is that? All right. All right. Let's get back to the story. Yes. And today Beena is going to read a bit for us.
Okay.
Can you pull up slides? Can you open slides on page 16?
Okay, just a minute. I'm just responding to someone. So.
All right. No problem. No problem. This is such a cool point that you brought up, and also you mentioned something that's a very potent point that you mentioned, and you mentioned about excuse me, you mentioned about the overwhelm of newness. Yeah,
Yes.
and we must be careful of that. Just because things are new doesn't mean they have to be overwhelming. Yeah, practice. Sorry, excuse me. Something down there. There we go. We have to practice dealing with newness. If you practice it, you say, well, it's just a bit, okay, I don't know, I'm a bit lost, I'm a bit confused. Okay, but I keep going, oh, okay, it's a little better now. Oh, it's a bit better. You know, that sometimes it's literally on the first step, you're all like, oh, what? And the second step, and the third step, oh, it's better. Fourth step, it's all good. It happens very quickly if we don't get lost in that overwhelm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. So it's very important to practice dealing with newness. That is part of capital P practice. To be okay with that initial, I don't know what's going on, and then you just persist, and then your brain starts to put things together, and suddenly it all falls into place. Right? You have to make a bit of effort, and then it's there. But if you can develop this ability to be able to persist through that initial uncomfortableness of newness, you learn how
Yes.
to learn. You learn
Yes.
how to learn, and it's incredibly, incredibly powerful.
Okay.
Incredibly powerful. It's a
Yeah.
superpower.
Yes. We are in chapter 8, part 2.
No, we're in chapter 9.
Okay.
On slide 16. You got it?
Yes, I'm just going there.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Just when we understand a little more and little things like clarity of intent, why does it make a difference? Knowing why, it helps so much. And now also with this capital P practice, understanding the necessity to get through that initial obstacle of that supposed overwhelm in the beginning. It's not truly overwhelm. It just appears so. And just persist a little bit. It's just a bit uncomfortable, but all right. And then suddenly it all falls into place. And it's like, hey, what was I all stressed about 2 seconds ago? It literally sometimes it's a matter of seconds. It's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing. Yeah.
No, so you need to send me a link. It's not working. Okay.
Are you not logged in?
It was logged in, but it was just not opening up. It happens sometimes with a delay.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
It's just my laptop thing. I or my net.
Well, I don't know. The link won't really help because you want to open up slides. You may have to log in again. That's probably the thing.
Okay, then let me. Okay, now, yes. I had to log in. Okay. Are you there?
Yeah. You're logging in.
Okay. Need to share screen also. Okay.
Brilliant. Slide 16.
Slide
Chapter
16.
9. Slide 16. That's where we're at. Yeah, of chapter 9. Now, just for those listening while we get organized here, on Sunday is important. Sunday is a key chapter in the whole book, right? It's kind of the middle, central chapter. It's a very big, long chapter. There were other key chapters, but this is the heart and the core, because you really get into the deep underlying moreness psychology of the new nobility, how they think and feel and act and behave and do, and why they are connected to a moreness psychology. They go extra steps that aren't needed, but they go that extra steps, right? And why they are called the new nobility. And because they are doing things that are truly noble, nothing to do with hereditary or titles or any of that nonsense. None of that BS, of course, right? They are very, very real because they apply, they do. And this story, the origin story, is the name of the chapter. And Biella tells this an origin story, right? It's called an origin story because the new nobility psychology and moreness, this is one of the original stories from which the things grew and developed, yes? Or at least the idea and the understanding of it. It's one of the core original psychologies that comes out. And it's very important to us to pay attention to our own psychologies and our own perceptions, our own understandings, our own worldviews. And all of this is in there. It's a way they look at the world. And there's more to it because there are takeaways that come about in this too. And through the takeaways, you get to hear perceptions from others. And those are, and then how Biella deals with them. Very, very, very revealing. It shows a lot in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Shall we start now?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Brilliant. Says
That's it,
green.
grinned Ursula. That's the best bureaucracy I have ever experienced. She was delighted. A confirmation to her. Proof the new nobility truly lived and applied their perspectives in all aspects of their lives. An amazingly powerful emphasis. And oh, Eribury Biella, the new noble added, using Biella's old formal name, surprising them all somewhat. Don't forget to sign your name as Biella Noble now. When you are on ag business, most of the new nobles forget to do so. Makes a mess back here at Edmund. He grinned fiercely, seeing the realization on Biella's face. She'd
Yeah.
known all this, of course, but it had been a dream for so long, all her life. She was now actually Biella Noble.
That's interesting. I might actually remove that from the book
Uh-huh.
because yes, she wants to be noble, not necessarily be Biella Noble, but you see what I mean? It gives
Mm.
an impression of a ambition that's not quite accurate. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Maybe Beena, go back 1 second there.
Mm.
One to the previous slide and just add a comma behind Biella. Double click, just or triple click, and it will be able to edit. There we go. Click one more time to bring you there. There we go. There we go. All right. She was now actually Biella Noble. See?
Yes.
She's achieved. She wants to be noble. In the name is the ambition to be noble. Or it's not even an ambition, it's an aspiration. And all right, you're never quite there, obviously, but at least you feel like you have arrived somewhere with this, right? It's a confirmation that you've been doing things appropriately. And it doesn't come from you. It's an external point from others whom you trust. So it's quite a big deal, right? Because we
Yeah.
can never be, our modesty doesn't allow us to say about ourselves that we're noble. But in this confirmation process, right, they are saying, yes, Biella, you are. Yeah. It's a very,
Mm.
very profound thing to hear about yourself because it's not something you can say about yourself. Yeah. So that comma makes a difference there.
Yes.
Very big difference. Yeah. Actually, to be really detailed on it, I'll change it to a semicolon. A bit of a bigger pause there. But you carry on. You carry on.
Okay.
Now,
Arshna's.
by the way,
Mhm,
none of them know that her name is Biella. It's just a very strange, weird name that
mhm,
we have no idea why Sylvie, her mother, Sylvie Nadar, gave her this name. She's always just been called Biella. She's always been known as Biella, one name, Biella, right?
mhm,
She doesn't have a last name because she was a foundling, right, on Sylvie's doorstep. So
mhm,
Biella, on her official documents, it just says Aribera Biella. That's it. Doesn't say anything else. She doesn't have a last name because Sophie didn't know what her last name is. She didn't want to give her the Nadar last name because she's not. Yes, she's adopted. She's her child, but not. It just left it open for Biella to choose. Just very sophisticated from Sylvie. Yeah, just fun. Just a little extra background stuff. Yeah. Fun
okay.
stuff. Fun stuff.
Arshla was about to ask a question, but the
Mm.
new noble forestalled her. Biella will explain and elaborate later. Now it's time for the origin story.
So I was going to ask about the name.
Yes.
Like what? Because Ursula
Biella
loves
captured
that
the
kind of
scenes
Ursula.
delightedly.
Sorry, Beena, to interrupt again. Uh, but this is part of the story, so it's a capital R reading. The point here is that Ursula's like us, that she has deep curiosity. She wants to know. You can't spring this on me and then not give me any more. It's like, come on. She wants to know. She wants to know. That's what makes Ursula an aspirant, right? All aspirants share this desire to know. And once your brain is trained to know, it goes to, yes, you want to know about the moreness in life, but of course it extends to everything because the brain, it's hard for it to separate out. So you want to know about stuff like this, that deep curiosity and the wanting to know what's more behind it. It is absolutely quintessential and intrinsic and inherent in being an aspirant. It's the quality that is looked for when accepting someone as an aspirant. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, please.
Biella clapped her hands delightedly. Off to the
Mm,
garden of origin with us, she said excitedly. They filled out of the door, the filed out of the door into the hallway and through the door marked transport
mm,
into another hallway similar to the first. But one wall had many doors in it. Biella stepped to a door and said, "Four for the garden of origin, please."
mm.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah. So basically, they're in a hallway, but instead of like elevator doors, they have nice looking doors, right? But these are vertical, essentially vertical elevators, long distance vertical elevators,
Hmm.
or
The
lifts.
idle new noble had evidently finished his duties and was coming along. An
Mm,
inquiring look from Ursula to confirm. "I
yeah,
wouldn't miss this," he grinned.
yeah,
Origin stories are great. Not all new nobles tell stories the
yeah,
way Biella does,
yeah,
especially not new nobles. And
yeah.
besides, so appropriate. He beamed.
Exactly, exactly.
Biella
Also,
beamed.
just think of it for a second, right? Think of the logic of the new nobility, right? In how they will like and do things, right? Why would the admin miss out, right? And if somebody really needs the admin, I mean, he'll put a notice, gone to the origin story, assuming everybody, and with the assumption that if you can be there, you're also going to be there, right? If you're in the vicinity, if you're close by. If somebody comes and sees, oh, there's an origin story, all right, I'll come back later. See? So it just makes sense. You don't have to be open 24/7. All right, technically the admin is there. Somebody may come in the spaceport and look for him, but they'll see the notification and they have to wait a couple of hours. Yeah, so what? Nothing is that urgent. I suppose they could go and find the admin at the origin story. They really needed to. Yeah. So just
Mm,
just just the underlying logic of it, they're not hung up by rules and regulations, in other words. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's very
Their
sensible.
positivity, yes, their positivity, acknowledgement of fact, praise, or ego, not a part of it at all.
Mm,
Everyone
mm,
had different skills. They celebrated them all. Biella was looking forward to it.
That's actually an important point that's mentioned there. Very simple little line, but the implication is very important. For the new nobility, if you've got a skill, you just celebrate that skill. You just say, and you acknowledge it. Biella is very good at telling these stories. She's excellent at it. And the new nobility says, I wouldn't miss this. Biella's really great. Yes, Biella says, she agrees. It's part of their culture. She's not being egotistical. She's affirming the reality and the truth and the value of this reality. She is good at telling stories. Yeah. What must she say? No, I'm not. But it's that false modesty that you so often see with people. What does it really accomplish? Think about it. And Biella now, all right, if Biella in our typical society, the way I grew up, Biella would be a bit awkward and uncomfortable. Well, I try, I do my best, or some other such nonsense, right? What does it do for you internally? You start contradicting this value that you have. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? You just diminish yourself. Why? Don't you want to be good at something? Yeah, you like doing good. You enjoy being good at it. Affirm it. Right? Affirm it in the brain. Right? And entrench that reality. You've gotten a confirmation from others on something that you like doing and want to do, and that's important to do. Yes. See what I mean? So there's a sensibility as with everything with the new nobility, a deep sobriety to this. Yeah. Make sense, Beena?
Yes. Yes.
And when you overcome this false modesty nonsense, what is false modesty but just inverted ego? Yeah. There's no ego involved when she says yes. She agrees with him. Just doesn't even say yes, I am, but she's not denying it and following. She's just acknowledging the truth. When you acknowledge the truth about yourself, your skills, your value, your moreness, you affirm that, you entrench it in the brain, you add to it, and you grow, right? And this is very, very, very important, is it not?
This is so engraved, so
I
conditioned
know,
in
I
our
know, I
minds
know,
that
I
it,
know.
it will make assumption that it will make
Yeah,
others
yeah.
uncomfortable. And
Right,
it is
right,
okay. I
right,
never had this
right.
understanding before that
Yeah,
this assumption comes actually from the origin of this assumption is an ego, which says that okay, oh,
yes,
because you are better than, because other people will think and like this, we assume on their behalf, which might not
correct,
be, could
correct,
be, or might not
correct.
be, but it has
Right.
nothing to do with you.
Nope,
When
nope.
we get this piece of being, when we are okay, whoever, whatever we are, we have that peace, we acquire that peace, then we don't assume that okay, it is going to make other people. Yes, we still it still stay considerate, it still stay um, positive, and of
Yeah,
course, and then use capital D diplomacy also in some situation, because it's a requirement for appropriateness, because yes, most of the time you cannot be appropriate without using capital D diplomacy. There are
yeah, yeah,
situations in life, but it
yeah.
doesn't mean that we have to really go a bit like okay, really stretch it and say that oh, it's nothing and all that to make
Yeah.
others comfortable. It's false. It's not honesty.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
which he never actually acknowledged that because
Yeah.
my mind was so conditioned that this is actually the
Yeah.
noble thing. Okay, in other words,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
okay, you
Yeah.
don't do that, you don't
Yeah.
acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
doing so, we or every single time when we say things like that, we not only um, present ourselves to ourselves as dishonest, as a liar, or
Exactly.
as an egoistic person.
Exactly. Exactly. When I've got no ego and you say, oh, I'm good at something, and I say, yes, I am, just acknowledging the fact, the reality. I'm confirming your perception and saying, yes, you're accurate in this. And this is it. It's just like that's like you saying, okay, you've got green eyes. Yeah, yes, I have. See? That's it. Very simple. There's nothing more to it. It's only an issue for those who have egos. Now, think who came up with this modesty thing and why? It's BMN culture, narcissist culture, insecurity culture. When I'm a narcissist and I'm all hollow inside, and you're good at something, I don't really want to, and I'm forced to sort of acknowledge it. I don't really want you to be good because that makes you better than me because I'm all involved in hierarchy. So now I cue and put out this, well, make it less, diminish it, yeah. And now you start. But also for the narcissist, when it's their turn, when they get praised, they now, with a false modesty, can draw attention to it to say, well, but actually they are boosting themselves because they're keeping the attention on the fact that they are good at something, right? So it's a way of them advertising themselves without obviously advertising themselves. Very subtle ego narcissism trick. Yeah. But the new nobility say, no, we're not going to play these games. We are very sophisticated in our psychology. We see through all this, right? None of this nonsense. If I'm good at something, I'm good at something. End of story. That's it. It's no more, no less to it. I put a lot of work into being good at it, or it just happened automatically. It doesn't matter either way. You know, it's irrelevant how it came about. But typically, they're good at things because they make an effort and they work at it. Right? Anybody can do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Right? Make
I
sense?
have this thing. I have this thing that it's still I'm working on it because the danger is that okay, you will fall into this ego boosting BMN or narcissist type of thing. That's
Exactly.
why it's very tricky for me. It's a
Yeah,
it's a slippery floor thing that okay, once you get
yeah.
out of balance and then you cannot take your control back. I'm very cautious of that, not only
Exactly.
because that okay, I'm aware that it's the danger of or the risk of being getting involved in ego, but also because it is so entrenched in my mind.
Yeah.
It is almost by default.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I
Yes.
have to put a lot of effort into
Yeah.
to saying that. I was not even able to when someone is just making like or giving me any compliment. I used to give some explanation for that. Oh, it just happened
Yeah.
because oh, I was just tried really hard. It was it's just like that. It
Yeah.
just came.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
nonsense there. It
Yeah.
was, of course, some because of my ego and some because that okay, in my mind, I was assuming that it's a
Yeah.
big deal. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Everyone can do this. It's not a big deal. So then you don't need to give any explanation for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is because it is so entrenched, I still get
Yeah.
into this. I'm still uncomfortable with compliments.
Yes.
So my new strategy,
Yes.
one step ahead is to not say anything.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, now I'm going to say
Brilliant.
thank
Brilliant.
you
See you doing it
more.
in stages.
Yes.
Very, 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 very excellent strategy. Very excellent
Yes.
strategy. Don't try and jump from 1 to 100 sometimes, especially
Wait.
with deeply entrenched behaviors and
When you
psychologies
cannot do.
and habits. No, you got to go step by step. Now, there's more to this, right? Look at
Yes.
that one simple little line, right? And how much moreness there is to it, and I love this, and that's why I put it in there. It was very deliberately added for exactly this reason to illustrate this psychology. Right now, there's more to this. When the admin noble, right, was saying that to Biella, I wouldn't miss this. Biella's an excellent storyteller, right? And Biella says, yes, I am. I didn't actually say that, but in essence, right? The point here is they acknowledge this. Uh, is the new noble giving her approval or acknowledgement and appreciation? He's not approving anything. He's not saying I approve. He's just stating a fact, but by way of acknowledgement and appreciation. Correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yes.
now when Biella acknowledges this with a confirmation, she's saying your perception is accurate, which is nice feedback, and feedback is very valuable, especially on things which you know that are subjective to a large extent, right? Uh, and also, she is in that moment. She's also appreciating the appreciation. In other words, he's giving her a gift in a way, a gift of energy, and she's acknowledging that gift of energy. To go and say, well, that false modesty, umming and ahhing, that's to devalue the gift, is it not?
Mm.
It's terrible. That's terrible. It's really no good at all. Let me just say thank you to Amazon here real quickly. Makes sense. Thanks, Amazon. You see what I mean? It's a very powerful thing, because now I'm basically saying, don't compliment me. It makes me awkward. It makes me uncomfortable. No, you're acknowledging my moreness. I'm happy with this gift of energy. It's feedback for me, and feedback is absolutely critical in self-improvement, self-awareness, growth, everything that not only this group that we are in is about, but everything, the new nobility, the Moreness project, Way-of-Impeccability, everything is all about this, right? We don't want to be, well, we can, but it's not ideal to be doing your learning and growing in a complete bubble, because you might be fooling yourself. You might be in a madness bubble, right? So we need that external feedback, right? Now, and not necessarily validation in the usual sense that people just seek for approval validation. No, we want objective, thoughtful, thought through, sober evaluation, right? And if Biella's telling the story, and she were to find out, well, she takes on herself to tell the story, but people don't really enjoy her storytelling, she'd be mortified. Well, and she would stop immediately, yeah, or make an effort to improve her skills. So the feedback is absolutely critically important. Why? Because she doesn't want to be impinging on others. Yes? Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot to this acknowledgement of skills and value. It enables you to utilize them as appropriate, yeah, without fear of you being in a bubble where you think you got the skill and now you're just essentially forcing your nonsense on others, right? Like my singing.
Mm.
Anyway, unfortunately, I'm aware that my singing is onerous. Well, because it's onerous to me, which is a great tragedy. I mean, it's one thing to have a not nice singing and force it onto others, and you enjoy it. All right, I can still understand that. You think it's wonderful. All right, go ahead. Sing away. But it's not even fun
Sometimes,
to me.
okay, I hum and I sing and I don't care
Oh,
about
and
like,
it's
okay,
beautiful.
how it
Yeah,
sounds to other, because
right.
it is just a fun thing. It just came.
Exactly,
But
exactly,
okay, coming
exactly.
back, yes, coming back to something which is very important for me, what you mentioned there, that when that admin was giving uh appreciating, he was not appreciating, he was not giving acknowledgement, he was not adding something like, oh, for me she is like that, oh, I found her very, he was
Yeah,
just simply stating a fact.
exactly,
And I think that uh, this is one of the most important key factor in communication,
exactly.
and that was missing from me. I
Yeah,
never understand this, that we can communicate without giving our own value in it. No, how to say
yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. Our own
Or
evaluation.
yeah, our own
Our
evaluation into this.
subjectivity, in other words, we can be
Exactly.
objective. Exactly.
Exactly.
Right,
Our
right,
subjectivity into it. We
right,
can still
right,
state a fact,
right, right.
and
I mean,
and
that
and
new Nobel wasn't saying, he said, I wouldn't miss this. Biella is a good storyteller. He didn't say, I like Biella's storytelling, saying she
Mhm.
is a good storyteller. In other words, in general, everyone thinks so, not just me, right? And coming from a
Yes.
new Nobel, for whom accuracy and integrity is absolutely critical, this is not just a simple statement. This is a big deal, right? Now, and the way he's saying it to Ursula and Comelius, on top of it, he's letting them know that, so they get some information on the general perception. And they now get to also see and know and understand what the new nobility regard as good storytelling. See? Lots of moreness to this. Lots of moreness to it. Very simple thing. But the main point is that They're not engaged in nonsense that makes no sense, like false modesty. Yeah? That's the main point. There's a practicalness to it. And there's all that false modesty stuff. What does it really accomplish? Nothing. It doesn't help you. It doesn't entrench anything. It doesn't further. It doesn't allow you to confirm. It doesn't allow you to appreciate and acknowledge yourself, which is very important. If you're on a path to moreness, you have to acknowledge your growth. Otherwise, you'll never, ever progress. Correct?
Yes. For me, why I'm just gonna let it sink in, because a few days ago, a couple of days ago, you mentioned something about nobility and the way of uh, being there. They are not associated with particulars of like, okay, oh, that person belonged to that country, that race, that nation, that generation. They put a lot of effort to not get any involved in any specific or associated with specifics like these. And I was thinking that yes, we can do like, okay, they have their own way of dressing, their style is different, it is not limited or connected to anything particular. And they put a lot of effort into this. But the start was missing for me. This statement right here is the start when you mentioned we can state facts, we can say
No.
things in without input our own evaluation into this.
Yeah. Oh.
We can still do this, and this is the base of new nobility.
Yeah. Exactly. Very important. It's just the honesty too. Why and BS around the whole thing? And no, just be honest. If you're good at something, you're good at something.
That I can still be honest when I say that, oh, I really enjoyed her, and this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay, my recommendation. I can still be honest,
Right. Wow.
but doing it in a completely different way is actually living like a book. They are living like a book,
Yeah.
which is just stating facts. It's not like, okay, oh, it is this and that. No, it is there. Anyone can, of course, they have their own perspective. They're just putting facts out there, and people can get, and it's their choice. It's a beautiful and so empowering thing. This is how I personally feel that maybe ambassadors might be speaking to and saying things. Maybe, I don't know, but this is what really inspires me. I was very keen to learn the language of diplomacy, that okay, how they communicate, because when you are aware that you have such a huge responsibility on you, when you are communicating, when you are going out there presenting millions of people and their future, and of course everything, especially when, okay, it's not only that, okay, I belong to Pakistan, so I'm saying that because we are mostly in critical condition, because we are a new country, we're still in a child state, but also for like a superpower, so-called superpowers, when they are going there, they have such a huge responsibility on them, because how they are going to communicate, they cannot show their interest, even though if personally they might be very fond of or really willing to do a lot, but they cannot do this because the consequences and implications are different as human and as living more. This when person have so huge responsibility, they become more. And when you become more, you cannot input or insert your personal evaluations or affection or biased and all these things. This is so huge for me. I don't know, maybe it's just, maybe I'm making it. For me, this is so huge. This is the base of communication. This is the base of writing things. This is the base of sharing, not actually telling or dictating anyone to think in a particular way.
Yeah.
This
Exactly.
is so profound.
It's sharing.
Love
It's
this. So
sharing.
yes.
It's sharing, right? sharing, collaboration, interaction, feedback,
Yes.
takeaways, repeat backs, all of it's all part of the same psychology. Big deal, big deal, big deal.
And it is so amazing to find this balance that, okay,
Wow.
I can only share my perspective, of course,
Wow.
but at the same time I can present it in a way that which is not going to demand anyone or influence anyone to think of like, oh, it is
Exactly.
coming with my personal recommendation.
Free sharing, free sharing, free sharing, choice. That's the point. The nobility strive to share choice, because this is the one thing that you can freely share.
Yes.
If I'm sharing my opinions and my perspectives, those could still be influential. But if I'm sharing choice, you get to choose, right? I'm not inadvertently influencing you. Yeah, because I'm sharing choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so like, okay, of course, sometimes things just connect more deeply.
Yeah.
To you. This is what happens with me right now. I'm feeling like, oh my God, now it is all making
Mhm.
sense. It
Yeah.
is all making sense to me.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing.
Oh, so wonderful. And that's why we do the capital R readings. Because that from a typical reader or another author, it's kind of a throwaway line. It's almost superfluous there. Huh? It's like a filler
Hmm.
line. No. It's there for a very particular real reason. Huh? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Light. Norma just said hello, Light.
Hello, late.
Hello, Norma. We're just getting started, so it's all good. It's all good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Wonderful, Norma. I'm glad you're here. Ah, brilliant. Always add when you're here.
Okay.
Just
Their
yeah.
positivity, acknowledgement of fact, praise, or ego, not a part of it at all. Everyone had different skills. They celebrated them all. Biella was looking forward to it. She loved stories and loved telling them as much as hearing them. The door opened into a small compartment with no windows. They stepped inside and immediately felt motion as the compartment accelerated.
I want to add one point onto this.
Mhm.
You walk around Nobelia. Later in the story, we'll get to this, where Biella's walking with the delegates, so Ursula, and they come across a group of people, and Ursula listens, and she's like, Biella, sorry, I hate to say that, but that's really horrible. She's like, seriously? She's used to expecting excellence, but in this instance, she comes across and, either a single one or a group of people are doing something that's like really not good at all.
Hmm.
Because this would be an instance of a particular get-together, a capital P practice get-together, right? Where the intent is we're going to get together and we are going to practice that which we are really bad at. So why would you want to practice something that you're really bad at? Many reasons, right? One is, particularly aspirants, right? To overcome ego. I can sing badly and knowing it's bad, and I have a receptive audience who's there to hear me sing badly. How cool is that? Yeah. Right. Now I get to practice. Well, first of all, being comfortable with things that I'm not particularly skilled at. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go around singing, but it's my ego is able to acknowledge I'm simply bad at this. Yes, but you here to hear me be bad, right? And so I get comfortable with that. Plus, of course, the most important reason is that when I actually do this for real, like I'm really singing now with the intent to be as good as I possibly can be, I'm singing in an environment which I can't really replicate, and that usually leverages us into moreness. Yeah. Now, all right, my singing, it may be physical reasons, who knows? It may not improve, but when it comes to things like, say, public speaking or storytelling and all of this, when you actually start and you have that uncomfortableness and you practice and you get feedback, well, why is it bad? Well, because you don't read the commas. Yeah, okay. You see, and then you start to learn. So it becomes a feedback school of why. And of course, this is a profound thing. So we do need to make a special practice or special space for practicing badly. Yes. It's
Hmm.
necessary sometimes. It's necessary that you have to start. You have to kind of jump into it with your both feet. And then you have to do, because to speak publicly is not the same as speaking privately. It leverages you into a different mindset, right? And
Yeah.
until you actually in that situation, you don't quite know how you're going to do. You may prepare, but you need it for real, right? So the new nobility will do this deliberately. They will deliberately set up situations where they say, okay, here we go. This is doing things badly time. And all right, this is me. I'm willing to listen to you do things badly. And it's not a negative, it's not a painful exercise, maybe a little bit, but hey, because it's part of my nobility. I'm doing it for a really, really good reason. So it makes me joyful inside, right? Even though
Hmm.
you're violent, oh man, it gives me a headache, but all right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now there are obviously instances like, when you're learning to play a violin, where you can recognize that it doesn't sound good for yourself. You don't need anybody else to tell you this, right? So
Hmm.
that's. I'm not talking about when we're at the very beginning stages of learning something. I'm talking about where you at the point where you don't know and you want that feedback, right? Yeah. So it's not usually that totally terrible, right? But still, you're getting feedback. And it's very important to not only do this for ourselves, but to have the ability to do that. Yes, because yeah, let's take with the public speaking. Yeah, um,
Hmm.
and you're a new noble, and you know that likely you're going to end up somewhere out in the ag, in a community, and you're just going to live there. That's it. But just living there, just being, is part of the new nobility mandate. You're making a difference just by being, yeah, just by being aware. All right, you're out there, and there's some disaster that happens, and people need to be organized, and somebody needs to step up and essentially talk to a crowd. It's not a speech that you're giving, but you need to speak to people. You need to have this ability, even if you're bad at it. You need to be comfortable doing it. Yeah, because in a situation like that, somebody stepping up who has organizational skills, who has sobriety, who has sensibility is very important. This is a situation that BMNs they thrive under, because they jump at that opportunity to now take charge and get in charge, and then getting rid of them is very difficult. So the new nobility are aware of this and they step up. But see how important it is that they're comfortable, because if you're all uncomfortable, even if you don't do it well, doesn't matter. Your discomfort makes it worse. If you're not doing it well, all right, never mind. We need this. We need you. Go ahead. See, it's a major, major issue. I'm just thinking of one example where it makes a difference and it's important. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good, Norma. You didn't miss much, really. We just got started, so not an issue. All right, keep going, Beena. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. There is an
Please.
elaborate system of tubes for transport under Nobelia. Biella explained. Tubes are vacuum. Under the transport modules are mounted powerful magnets at an angle. The tubes have electromagnets, which are activated by the motion of the module to be perfectly timed to activate the reverse polarity onto the angled magnet underneath the module. Very simple, really. For long trips across planet, they can get up to some amazing speeds. They aren't going far, but it's up the mountain. This way, our timing will be just perfect. Yalla's excitement permeated the group.
Yeah. This little point here, I'm sharing, ideas in this, and the whole technology is not explained fully, but there's enough there from which somebody who has an idea, more or less what it is, they can extrapolate. Say, wow, oh, that's really good idea. It's a very simple idea, very sensible, right? But they can work it out from that. So giving the and also the thinking behind it, it's very efficient, very energy efficient, leverage all of this, right? So it's a product of the new nobility psychology. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So from now you have to continue because I'm going to eat now.
Oh no, I'm still eating. Do you have to go the
Oh,
second?
okay. Because
Do
they're waiting for me. Okay.
okay. All right. My thing can wait. All right. One more bite and then I'll read.
Yes, 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 please.
Go ahead, Beena. Go ahead. All right, Norma, no problem.
Okay. We have actually read a lot, but like, okay, so we
Yeah.
can. It's almost an
We
hour
can end it
now.
right here. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Let's do that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. See you tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Yes. Yes. Day after tomorrow. Sunday. Okay, Norma. See you soon. See you soon,
Bye bye,
Syl.
Norma. Bye bye, Beena. See you soon. See you soon.